I don't know how much it weighs. They call this bike the Flying Brick. Maybe because the engine looks like a brick. In high school, we used to play a game called Flying Brick. It got us in a lot of trouble. What's up, guys? Sean here from Srkcycles.com. We have a 19, I'm so excited about this bike, 1995 BMW K1100 RS. This is a 4-cylinder, and it's like a little car motor. I'm so pumped about riding this bike. It's a very cool, very unusual bike, and people love these things. Man, I can't wait. Guys, before we start off, like I've been trying to do lately, give you guys some words of wisdom so you can go through the day and be like, yes, I got some words of wisdom. And here they are, right here. Hold on. Normally I'm a little more prepared. Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring forth. Ooh. Think about it, guys. Think about it while we ride. Now, I did let this bike warm up a little bit before I hopped on it, because I know all you people are like, yo, let your bikes warm up. And now I can take it off a choke. Ooh, I like this thing. This thing even has heated grips on it. It's a 95. Make sure the throttle meister's turned off. I just don't know what to expect. Oh man, this seat's so comfortable. But it's so sporty because you got like that, you got that room, you got that like lower back support, so you're not gonna fall off it. I'm serious. I just have no idea what to expect. I've ridden the you know, newer K bikes, the K1300s and stuff, but a K11, is it gonna be fast? I know the K1200s, they felt a little bit slow because they were huge. Like the K bike got really big in the later years. This is still a pretty small, tiny little bike. There we go. Now this bike only has 40,000 miles on it, which is pretty low miles for a BMW bike. We all know that. When we first got it in, I saw this bike and I was like, wow, that thing is cool. I was very excited about it, but it didn't work. I couldn't get it to fire up. It had enough battery power, we just couldn't get it to fire up. I called in a BMW expert. He owns a bunch of them. He's a good guy, bought a Ducati from me. Really knowledgeable guy. He had just watched a video from another BMW expert that was talking exactly about these bikes. And he's like, if they've been sitting for a while, a couple months, this is why they're not firing up, and this is what you have to do to get them to fire up. And what he said was, the oil in the cylinders, it'll run out of oil, and just from sitting there. So then what you need to do is you need to put, and they actually, the oil, the cylinders, I didn't know this, but the oil in the cylinders actually gives the bike the compression, because without it, without that bead of oil around it, around the piston and the rings, the bike doesn't actually have any compression. It's not going to fire up. So what we did was we shot 5 cc's of oil into each of the cylinders. We also cleaned the spark plugs. We shot 5 cc's of oil into each cylinder. Bam, fired right up. And ever since then, I mean, yeah, for a while it smoked because it was burning the oil we shot in there. It smoked for about 20 minutes. But ever since then, it just, bam, fires right up. And I've been super pumped about this bike. I've been real excited to ride it. And I know there's some BMW guy out there, he knows more about this bike than I will ever know about this bike, and that's awesome. I love learning about new stuff though. This is a comfortable machine. And this little wind thing, I mean, I'm barely getting any wind touching me. I'm getting a lot of wind on my shoulders, but I kind of like it. What kind of power does the bike have? That's what everybody wants to know. Let's do a little power pass. We're going to slow down a little bit. It's got a lot of power. It's very smooth. It's extremely smooth. It's also very planted feeling. But they call this thing the flying brick. And it just, something about it, they say it just feels extremely planted, and I can feel that. I don't know why. Why would this bike feel any more planted than another bike of the same weight? I don't know why, but it really does. Something about it just gives you that confidence. I mean, it turns, it's nimble, but it just feels like it's just on the ground. I can't explain it, but you gotta ride it. Man, this is a nice feeling bike. And for with heated grips and ABS, I've never ridden a 95 with ABS. I mean, BMW is really, in some ways, you know, they use old, they'll keep on using old stuff because if it's not broken, you know what I mean, why fix it? But then in other ways, I mean, they're just on top of everything. ABS on a motorcycle in 95? Who ever heard? Who ever heard of such ludicrousy? It's a little more, it's a much more sportier position than the newer K-bikes. The newer K-bikes are more of just a full-blown touring bike. I think this was more supposed to be like a sporty bike. This is more of a sport touring bike, and then they became like a full-blown like couch / micro house on wheels. I mean, the first time I rode a one of those big K bikes, I was intimidated. It's a big bike. It's super heavy, but this is more like a, you know, a sport bike with fairings. And it definitely has that Sporty-Er stance to it. I'm gonna get on it up here. I'm gonna bang through a couple gears. We'll see if Caleb can keep up. It's very smooth. Incredibly smooth. Alright, so who's gonna buy this bike? Who's the type of person that's gonna roll up and buy this bike? Probably the guy, but this is probably not the bike you buy for your first bike unless you're just into European bikes and you've been doing research, reading them about magazines since 1995. That's possible. I would think that the guy who's gonna buy this bike has like 10 more of them. He's got a garage full of BMW bikes, a garage full of parts, and he's looking for a nice clean one. And he knows more. He knows significantly more about this bike than I do. That's who I would guess is going to buy this bike. The brakes feel so tight. I've never ridden a BMW that the brakes weren't just nice and tight. And that's not just saying like how BMW makes it, but also the people who own it. You know, they wanna keep their brakes tuned. For some reason, there's a lot of Harley guys. We got a lot of Harley Davidson touring bikes where the brakes just go right through my knuckles. They don't use the brakes, they use the rear brake, or they use their feet. A lot of Harley touring guys, they just use their feet. Just throw it down. They go through a lot of boots real fast. This is definitely a really refined bike, and nothing about it feels old and like dated. You know what I mean? You could ride this bike and be like, yeah, I ride a modern motorcycle. It's just very solid. It's got cool things like heated grips. It's got great power, but it's such a cool classic look. It's got your temp gauge. It's got your fuel gauge. If you're a BMW owner, you gotta get something like this. And it's got ABS, and you can turn off the ABS. How cool is that? It actually looks like a 3-position switch. I don't know what the other position would be. I would think it'd be on, off, and that's it, but who knows. And it's got 4-way flashers. Here's the horn. How do you press the horn in? Oh, here, wait. Oh, wow. Look how loud. I'm gonna do it again once we're rolling. Oh, I'm in. Look, here am I in. Here we go. All right, listen to this horn one more time. This is a bus horn. That's a reason to buy this bike right there. I don't know if that's a stock horn or not, but there's like a train horn inside here. I could scare children with this. All right, guys, I'm gonna take this corner wicked fast, drag some bag. Dragging bag. Alright guys, remember, it's not what you're riding, but where you're going. See you guys later. Yes.